So everyone, that's welcome Didisa to have her speech today. Didisa.
Hello, everybody. I'm going to do a pocket speech, which means I'm winging it. And I'm going to spring into action very soon here. During the pandemic, right when it started, I thought to myself as an artist, holy cow, I'm not supposed to go to my art studio right now. What have I got to draw on? And what I had in my apartment was a big roll of paper, 48 inches wide and 12 feet long. And one day I realized that I could put that piece of paper on the barn door in my apartment, cut it to size, and make a big, tall drawing. Up until now, or up until then, I was drawing little tiny doodles every day. In fact, I was famous for doing this whenever I went to a meeting, took a class. I once took a 3-day course where they gave us a pamphlet and they gave us all a pen that was, and it had the name of the company on it. I ran out of ink, doodling on the edges of the page. So I thought, okay, I can make a whole bunch of little doodles. I was invited a few years ago to be in a show where it was all sketches. That show did not ever materialize. But for about 2 years, I collected these little tiny drawings and put them in archival boxes, just waiting for this show. And before COVID hit, I was accepted into a show where I would put my art in a vacant storefront. And I realized that I needed to make my sketches bigger than little tiny pieces, maybe so big they would fit on a wall, or maybe so big I would paint them on the walls of the storefront. So as I started making these large drawings in my apartment during COVID, I imagined that they would go into a show like that in a storefront. And I also was trying to calm myself from the news, listening to the news, worrying if I'm going to die, if somebody I love is going to die, if I'm going to catch COVID. So as I was making these drawings on my wall in my apartment, I was listening to podcasts and uplifting, beautiful, inspirational things on radio shows and recordings, YouTube. Many of these drawings that I've made have words in them. So as I was thinking, I got to calm myself down, I would write the words I was listening to. And it calmed me a little bit to do that. The things I used to draw with were water-soluble graphite. I had a big chunky piece of graphite, like a kid's crayon, giant kid's crayon. Drew with that. Then I put water on that. Sometimes I put gesso, which is a white acrylic paint, and on it, smearing it around with my fingers or with a rag. They're really pretty cool to look at. And I have now made 40 of these drawings, which means 80 actual drawings, because I thought I'm never going to get more paper. When I started making them, I drew on both sides of the paper. So I will show you one that I have in my apartment right now. It's behind me. You can see the size of it. It's about 6 feet tall, 4 feet wide. And it's really kind of fun to look at. This one I let my niece draw on, so she added the color. This one has a little earring that she added. Here's what it looks like with the graphite smushed around with something on top of it. I'm calling these my COVID angels. I've had them all professionally photographed, and I'm now currently making a set of angel cards, like divination cards, not really like a tarot deck, but the same number that a tarot deck would have. So that is how my angels are going to fly. They'll be available to buy in a little box set with a companion book, each one with an inspirational word on it to think about when you pull a card, and imagine how you might change a thought you have in your mind into a more uplifting, cheerful thought. Thank you for listening.